Good morning. Oh, I'm little again. Let me big. Let me big. There we go. Oh, we can talk to each other and all that. So, good morning. Hi, here's ever since I cut it, it's been a little bit wild. It just doesn't want to sit down. I even combed it this morning and it still like sticks right up. As soon as it dries, it's like. But I don't put any product or anything in my hair. I never really have. Maybe why my hair so is like still here. I never like I never like did anything to my hair. I just wash it all the time. That's it. Yeah, I'm 45 years old. I'm still chilling with a good head of hair. That's good. Anyway, welcome, morning. Welcome to Peace of Fat Pains. If I didn't say that already, I think I might have, but maybe I didn't. Formatted show here. We just kind of hang out and we paint things. We paint miniatures. We paint sculptures. Sometimes we paint other things. We did a cat mobile for my lovely wife. Um, you know, all sorts of strange stuff. I got like a giant Mary statue out back that I gotta paint, but it's outside. It's big. I'm trying to figure out. I'm waiting for the temperature to come down because it's hot outside, and like painting in the heat doesn't work really well. As a matter of fact, that's why all we had to strip all of these these space marines. They had to all get stripped because I primed them. It was in the heat and it messed up the primer. So gotta wait for it to cool down, which is coming. It's September. It's almost cooling down. We're getting close. Anyway, so that's enough about me. How about you? How are you? I hope you're doing well. Um, I don't get to hear from you often. You should comment and like and subscribe so that I know you're out there. We dropped a subscriber, so make sure you do if you like videos for anybody. It's not just me. So this is like across YouTube. If you subscribe to somebody that you're trying to help them out or whatever because you like the video or maybe you know them personally, whatever. It doesn't matter why you're subscribing to a channel. That doesn't matter. Make sure you like one of the videos. It'll implant your subscribe. If you don't like a video or interact with a video and you run the risk of it not setting up. Their algorithm, because it's not like somebody's intentionally. There's nobody intentionally going through and like scrubbing things. That's not how it works. It's an algorithm. It's a part of the system, the computer system. Um, Looks for subscribes that you didn't interact with, and that's the like button. So that's why everybody always says, "Hey, like and subscribe and ring the bell for notifications." They say all that stuff for that reason because you will lose subscribers if they don't actually like anything, which is kind of funny. So anyway, we got all of that and more to go today. That's about enough of me running my mouth. Let's stream me down back where I was. I got to pay more attention to that since we're moving and shaking. I did not have chance to completely fix the open sign, but we're gonna play. We're gonna go with it anyway because it's awesome. I'll just shrink myself up to match it. It's cool. No worries. So anyway, I got all of it. Look, they're all done. They're all done. It's crazy. And the Skitari. Now these are Mechanicum. Mechanicum is a different faction, and I gotta finish cleaning them up. Some of that is where it's gotten stuck on glue, and some of it is just deep down in there. We may just go ahead and prime it after we fix some of these. So when they put these together, you can tell there wasn't a whole. It was done in a quickness. My guess is they needed a squad or something, and then they didn't need them, or maybe they put them together and they didn't like it as much as they thought. You never know. You never know. But there's some nubs and things like that. Like right here, this is from the plastic. We paint for the Emperor. Only in death does duty end. So yeah, so we've got some fixes to do on some of the Mechanicum. You can see another one here where I got the nubs that when it was on the sprue. So we'll fix a couple of these little things. And like I said, you never know what was happening with these models before you get them. It may have just been, hey, I was just trying to throw them together so we could play around, or It could have been a kid putting them together and just didn't really know, and then they got out of the game, you know, whichever. Well, hello, Francois. That'd be good. It'd be good evening to you. It's good morning over here in the States. So anyway, the big announcement. It is the Dark Angels. It's a Dark Angels victory. So I went through my bit box and I started pulling out some stuff because we're gonna have to start figuring out how to make these guys look a little bit more Dark Angel. So you know we gotta work on that. And we've got the Dreadnaught. So I found where's that shield go? This little thing is always running around. So I've had this bit for a long time. It used to go to I think it was a wood elf on a dragon or something like that. But it's got kind of the leaf motif, and there's an S on there. So that'd be, you know, I figure we can probably set it here. And it'll look great. And of course, we're going to paint it, but we got to figure out exactly where we want to set it on there. But we can set that on there. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. We could just do, we maybe even, there's a couple of things we'll be able to do. When we get down to these squads, these will be easier to do. We can hood them, things like that. Because I've got the Leviathan set here, so I've got some Terminators, so we'll be able to Deathwing these guys out. It should be pretty easy. And then with this, I've got some parts of some 3D printed candles. I figure we can add that to his back. We can set those if we can file down properly. We can set those up back here, somewhere that makes sense. And then it's not, you know, really with this one, if we scheme this one, it should be fine. We'll just paint scheme it out to look like it's supposed to. Some parts are push fitted in, some parts are glued. I think this one right here is not glued yet. I don't glue them down till later, or sometimes I don't glue them down at all. It just depends on whether or not they need it. Like, of course, this doesn't really need it because it's like, you know, it's an easy twist in, and that's great. So we can get those set up without a problem. You know, and I don't know that I'm going to glue this part here. I was at one point in time thinking about adding something here to help hide all that stuff that comes off, but I don't know that I will. We're going to finish pinning up all this. I don't feel like there's a lot we got to change here. We should be fine with that. Like I said, we can do some freehand stuff. And I love this shield. I think this will work great. This works great for Dark Angels. It's got that forest look, and it comes with a sword that'll match. I'm thinking maybe we could set that sword here on here, and then we could actually put the wings for the rest of the Dark Angels motif to finish that up. That might be a lot of fun. And then we could do maybe a freehand something on this, something fun. Maybe like a Tree of Life or something woodsy. Maybe, I don't know. Lots of things. Maybe a dragon. Man, that's a good point. That's a good point. I haven't played Dark Angels before, so I got a lot to learn. About Dark Angels. Man, that'd be fun. That would look cool. Big old bone white Terminator. That'd look cool. Or not Terminator, but Dreadnaught. And we could do the Terminator in the same. You have 50,000 points of Dark Angels. Holy crap, bro! Salute to you, friend. That's a lot of points. That's a gang of points, man. 50K. That's a lot of points. How long you been collecting? Sir McBeardsly is just now getting into it. 40,000 or 50,000 points. It's a lot. 37 years. Yeah, let's say that's a long. You've been collecting for a while, so you got some of the old cool stuff, man. When it was back in the day. Yeah. It's all right. Francois Marion here would know. Man, listen, if he's been collecting for 37 years, he's been collecting even longer than I have, and knows probably way more about this game than I do. So, but yeah, I got that. I think those would look fun though, just for the librarian, giving that aspect. We might even be able to add like some caging with some green stuff or some mill put here. There's a lot of options. A lot of options there. So, yeah, all these Leviathan guys, these are all push fit. They had gotten, I had to scrub them because they had gotten primed in the heat, and then I was trying to do a Zenthal highlight, and all the white light, I don't know, it was fuzzy, it was weird. So I stripped them and scrubbed them, and so they're all ready to go. Get all these Skitari out of the way. These are my sons. What's really crazy is I have probably Risen Lion's Guard. Oh, sweet. That's pretty cool, man. That's really, really cool. I'd love to see that stuff. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. Pieces of Pat Paints. I'd love to see your work, especially help me get some inspiration for what we're doing here. Oh, my mat's so dirty, so we don't judge my mat. We gotta get this thing cleaned up. They were all drying last night because it was alcohol heaven in here. Yeah, I spent all day scrubbing miniatures so we could get ready to start working on these things. And we're gonna do up this Terminator and this Librarian, and then I gotta get it. Yeah, same name. Yes, sir. Same name, friend. Same name. I try to keep everything the same just because to make it easy, you know. But yeah. Okay, so I love those things. I like that. I like these candles. I had some other stuff, but I don't know. I might print some stuff as we go. Get some things added to it. Yeah, right. I put it back in the alcohol bottle, so like I would know, but like, it's so black from stripping all that primer. I was so irritated. That's why I got the Leviathan box when it came out, which was a while back, and I I and then when I made that mistake, it was last year, it was the summer last year. I was just so irritated with it. I was like, and I went on to paint the Tyranids instead of these, because with these you have to have the cleaner lines. With the Tyranids, it kind of worked out because they kind of look, I don't know, fuzzy, and like their shells are kind of, weird or misshapen just slightly, which works for Tyranids, but it totally does not work for Space Marines at all. It's gotta be. I mean, it might work for a Nurgle if we were doing some Nurgle. You could do something like that, and it might work. You might be able to play it up, but on these, it's totally not going to work. So we had to strip them. I was like, man, I do not want to strip all those. Oh, here, yeah. Let me get one of those good Tyranids. There you go, Francois. That's one of my Neds. He's looking steadily. Unfortunately, I keep getting my butt kicked because I do not know how to play this game very well anymore. I had played up into third or fourth ed, maybe fourth ed, and then I quit, and then now we're what 10th, so like I feel completely lost in the gameplay of it. Like I kept up on the lore and stuff because I love the lore, but I just didn't play it. Okay, so anyway, we got prep to do before we can mess around with getting getting paint on these guys. But now we have a paint scheme. We're going to be doing greens and bones and black. Funny story about Dark Angels and the reason that they're green. For those of you who don't know this one, this is a funny story. I need to file these down so they'll sit flat. The original art for the Dark Angels had them in like black armor. And so that was the original artwork. But the White Dwarf, when it got published, the print of the original artwork came out green instead. Oh, cool. Yeah. Let's take a look at that. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much. Now I just got to switch over and all that stuff. Pull that. I'm not very tech savvy, so. Oh, wow. Look at this guy. That's a massive knight. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Little smoke work. Oh, sweet. This looks great. Oh, look at that work. That shit's hard. I ain't gonna lie. Keeping it smooth and clean. Good work. That's solid work. Heck yeah, look at that. All the barrels. I love the smoke effect. That fog of the forest it's really looking good. Okay, here's that leg. Oh wow, is that a space battle on the leg? Wild. That looks great, brother. Oh man, so sweet. That sword. Nice, man. Yeah. That looks good. Good work, brother. I love it. I love it. Yeah. There's a whole bunch. Look at that. Nice. Yeah, see, these are more of that black with gold trim. And like I was saying, so the original painting for the Dark Angels before they hit White Dwarf, they were in black. Dark Angel Fleet Exit War. That's what I thought it was. That's super cool, man. Xanadu, the Rangian side, the Xenocide. That's really sweet. So cool. Thanks for sending that, man. That's a cool share. I really appreciate that. That's really neat. That's what this channel is supposed to be like, or these streams at least. That's what these streams are for, man. That's what it's for. Sharing the coolness and the awesomeness of all of us that do this cool hobby. So that people can see it, because like we don't, like you can see all the fancy painters. Like I love Sergio. You ever watch that guy, Sergio Calvo Miniatures or something like that? That guy's intense, so good. But like you don't get to see, like I would love to have like a bunch of people sending me stuff so we can share it on the streams. That's exactly what I'd love to do. So everybody can get to, not everybody wants to get on the camera and do all this stuff. They just don't. But some, like I don't mind. I'm a personality and I'm a teacher and I like to talk. I like to chat and have a good time. I don't mind. But I like to be able to show off other people's stuff too, man. That's super cool. That was super cool. Yeah. I definitely feel like I got the right ideas. I'm gonna put some. Well, these stern guards will be easy because we can just hood these guys, and we're in business. Have to get a community Discord eventually. It'd be great people to share. Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. I should just create it and then put you in as one of the admins, like and just go from there. Because you're a lot more savvy on the tech than I am, Shy, for sure, brother. All right. Let's keep. We gotta keep working instead of just being enamored with that amazing piece. That night was super cool. Man. That was cool. There's one guy that's making the church, the walking church. It's huge. Sterngard are also Deathwing. Really? I didn't know that. I got a lot to learn. I'm brushing up on my lore off channel right now. I was a Grey Knight player. I did Grey Knights is what I was playing. Actually, pull that guy out again. I got a new. This was my baby carrier. I didn't ever get him finished. He had the sword in this hand, but I didn't get around to finishing this one. I was gonna redo. Yeah, that's what I played like for a long time. I have way back Grey Knights and Inquisitors and stuff like that. You're old enough to remember this model. This is what I played when I very first started. Not first, but one of my first armies. I love the Inquisition, so. But my sons, found, because I quit playing and we were playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I was painting miniature versions. Sweet, yeah, baby carriers. I love that. I had when my kids were little, I had a baby Bjorn, and I felt like I was the Dread Knight. Anyway, so yeah, my sons found these 2 tanks that were in a box of miniatures. It was actually also had that Millennium Falcon in it. Is in that same box from my old model kits. All right, those ought to work. That's gonna look great. Okay, and so like yeah, I found these tanks and they were like, "What are these, Dad? What are these, Dad?" And I was like, "Oh, well, that's 40K." And they're like, "Well, what's 40K?" I was like, "Oh crap." I don't really know if I really want you guys getting into it, but might as well now. We're here. And I said, well, it's a game. It's kind of like arguing with rules. And all my sons are into it to various degrees. My middle son is into it the most. He's playing Space Wolves. And then 10th edition was coming out, and my mom was like, "Oh, for your birthday, here you can have the big box, the new box for the 40K." And we started the channel and all that stuff around the same time. Because if another friend of mine convinced me to start this channel, I wouldn't have done it if it hadn't been for him. So big shout out to Mikhail, Crypto Mikhail. If you're into cryptocurrency and stuff, go check his channel out. Really cool guy, Crypto Mikhail. And then Flying Arrow Magnetics, another friend of mine, got me into this stuff. And then yeah, so I've been waiting to figure out what I was going to paint these Space Marines, because like, well, they're not Grey Knights, so we're going to have to paint them something else. Hold on, we want to rough this up just a touch. We'll figure out what we're going to paint it, and then we want to rough this up. I'm getting distracted because I'm having too much fun having conversation. Okay, so let's take a look at where we want to put this exactly. If we put them pretty close to this, we can have a little bit of support going on with, or at least be able to keep it tight so it's not going to cause too much of a problem. If we do that, we might want to paint this before we set these. That would work out really well, and it'd keep it tight and we'd be able to glue it to each other. It would just decrease the risk of it being knocked off, and gives us some nice little places exactly where to put it. And overall, it'd be a nice look, I think. That would look cool. Oh, what I do with my silly phone. Oh, cool. It's all white. That's fun. With the Grandmaster. Yeah, mine I had to. So I had to like. I love your free work. That's fun. Planets and galaxies. That's really cool stuff. So mine, this is actually, and you can kind of see the difference. So this is the newer. That's the newer Grandmaster inside there. If I remember, if I Tilt shields are Titan and Holy Terror. Yeah, cool. Yeah, for sure. So this is actually this part and this are actually a real old Terminator that I was missing parts to because I have some of these old Terminators that are the old metal ones. And so I had I because this one was missing the guy that went in here. I don't know why, but I bought it on the cheap. But it was missing the guy that went in here, and so I had to make this out of green stuff, and I had to put him in there and like reset this, and you can tell like his arm is all because like they're supposed to have their arms are a little bit different than this when you buy it. It looks like you modded yours out too. But this one is more of this. There's the part of the weapon. I turned it into the handle. It was yeah. Or the little things that he's using to operate the machine. It's crazy. It makes it heavier. Your first freehands. That's cool, man. That's super cool. That's super cool. I just finished. Where'd she go? Hold on. I'm gonna pull this one out. This was the thing I just finished. She's huge. She's real big. It's actually easier to get her in the big camera. This is from Elden Ring. This is for one of our patrons. Yeah, she's pretty awesome. I can't remember which way to go with her. So she's huge. A little OSL working. I did a little freehand on the book. Probably before I drop that thing. A little freehand on the shrink myself back down so we can actually look at that. There you go. So yeah, I freehand the symbol on the book, and then I signed the inside of the book for fun. Yeah. So we have a good time around here, man. Hopefully, like and subscribe. Come hang out with us, chit chat. It's good stuff. That's good stuff. Okay, so I need to paint this first, and then we'll glue that on there. All right, so that's the modifications to him, and I'll do a little bit of work on painting with it. Maybe we need to do. It feels like he needs to have some cloth coming out of him. These setup episodes are always so weird. I always feel like I'm wasting people's time, but then like we have great conversations and it goes in great places, so it's it works out. What was I looking for? Oh yeah. All right, Deathwing Terminators. Well, I guess not all of them. I guess not all of them have the robes, do they? We just add that wing to his chest, like you were saying, Francois. Because if we just put wings right here and right here instead. That might work. I guess we could just, or we could just leave it. I mean, it's not too. Oh, I don't know. No, I'm not sure. 2A LGS and Dill sitting in the head Necron's commander deck for Magic the Gathering. Said he had to pick it up. Fortunately, place went to wasn't New World. I don't know if there's. I don't know who the other game shop is in Del City. Okay. So no for freehand phrasing is important. Jedi nut. That's funny. Yeah, gotta be careful with how you use the term freehand. Are we doing phrasing? Still doing phrasing. Okay. So I think we may just be able just to fix this guy pretty easily. That one shouldn't be a big problem. Let's do a little rough enough here so we can get a file. Oh, got games. Never heard of that one. I'll have to look that one up. I just kind of want to rough this surface up a little bit so that we can get this glue to stick. Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes when super glue sticks to, when you try to get super glue to stick to metal, it doesn't, and paint, it doesn't cooperate. So. It was good stuff, though. It was good stuff. That's okay. That's the best part about live is that you get the fun. You know, you get the fun stuff. That's good stuff. You don't get that kind of things when you just make regular videos. I say some of the most wild stuff, and then later I'm like, oh, I should not have said that, but that's okay. All right. I love this Gorilla Gel Glue. I'm going to rough the rest of this too. Yeah, we were going on a traffic rant for a minute. The traffic here in this state is insane. People in Oklahoma do not know how to drive. And sometimes it feels like they intentionally don't know how to drive. Like you can tell that they know how to drive, but they're intentionally acting like assholes. Like I said, just give it a little rough up so that we can get that glue to stick to that. And we can come back and we can put on a brush on primer or something like that if we need to. That's good. That's golly, now I'm messing up. Okay. Oh man, yeah, okay, yeah. Francois lives with us. Yeah, brother. Oh, it's terrible. I've lived here like off and on my whole life. It's always been like this. It will always be like this. I don't know why they drive like that. I cannot answer the question. I have a few friends that have a few theories, but I have none. Oh man, this is becoming a mess. Come over there. Okay. That was so good. I almost screwed that up. Golly. Jedi Nut, we need you around here like all the time. That was amazing. And Francois too. You guys are great. This is why I started doing this show. Honestly, I wanted it to be like this, where we were having a good time. Yeah, that's gonna look great for Dark Angels. Big S. We'll change this. We can probably just embed a skull there. I have skulls. Okay. Ooh, man, because I guess we could put a skull on that sword too, huh? That'd be fun. Let's see. Have more scammers trying to text me. I'll have to deal with that later. Lately, my favorite thing to do with scammers is to ask them if they have 6 fingers on their left hand, and then when they reply again, reply with the Ningyo Montoya monologue. Let's see. Okay. We had a person the other day go around us from behind, cut us off in front, and turn into their neighborhood just a few feet ahead. We're going the speed limit. Oh my God. Some people drive great. The majority needs. This is from Francois. Great. But the majority need to come to a complete stop before creeping into a driveway or even turning right onto another. Man, that is so true. Oh my God. I live out kind of in the sticks. So, like, stop signs are they're just a complete mystery to some of these folks. They just get to the stop sign and they absolutely. Jedi, thanks for stopping by, brother or sister. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. Everyone is equal in my eye. You ever watch good old Mel Brooks here? Yeah, so they'll stop at the stop sign, and then they'll sit and have this waving game where they try to wave each other on. It's the weirdest thing in the world. It's just like, man, would you just go? Could you just go? All right, we'll just pull one of these guys off of here. I got millions of them. Right, you got a giant ass truck. You need to come to some for turning into a Walmart parking lot. And I bet you that truck was white. Just saying. I'll bet you the truck is white. For some reason, the guys who drive those white trucks are just assholes. Oh yeah, we'll just set that. We'll set that skull in there. That shouldn't be too difficult. Just a little bit of shaving, very gently. We want to get this eagle out of here. I'm probably gonna take that off as well. I guess we can take it off. No, I like having the big part to hold. Probably got to take that skull off as well. Careful. Make sure you're minding where your thumbs are. Take your time. Go slow. Again, you could use a Dremel on something like this if you wanted to try something like that. But that Dremels a lot of times can get completely out of control on you. So a lot of times it's just better to kind of slowly work your hobby knife. Take your time. Deal with the rest of that with a file if we have to. That's so fun. I can't believe that they picked it. Well, you know, not all white trucks are created evil. Lots of people drive white trucks, but for some reason, people who have the propensity for being an asshole seem to drive those big, crazy white trucks, like dualies, like the crazy dualies and stuff. Okay, we got a big community. There's a big gaming community in Oklahoma. You just kind of have to find where they are. Getting the other skull prepped up is going to be way easier than this. We just got to cut the back of it off. This you have to kind of finesse it. And it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of patience. Especially if you don't want to lose all the little bits, because there's a little rivet right there. I swear sometimes GW puts stuff in places where it makes it harder to do things without losing some of their stuff that they've put on there. A lot of this should be covered up with that other skull when we put that in there. Northeast outside of Horton. It's always a woman in a dually or 90-year-old dude in a thigh. Yeah, dude. It's always, yeah. Some old guy. Yeah, if you're living up northeast, it's a whole different ball game on who's driving those trucks. Down here, it's all these self-imported guys that work in Oklahoma City but live in Shawnee, and they want to drive down the interstate acting like buttheads because they don't want to go work at whatever office job they've got in the city, but they've got to because they're in debt up to their eyeballs. I hate to be that way. Yeah, self-important types and company trucks. That's what we get up here. And gotta just take deep breaths and just take your time. Don't get in a rush. The second you get in a rush on something like that, this is the second you're gonna make a mistake. Just gotta clear that out. I got a flat space now. It's almost like you're trying to just shave it out of there. Escaped Oregon. I'm not coming to the tournament in Dust Bowl. Hey, Oregon. Oregon's nice. I like Oregon. I've been there once. Anyway, it left an impression on me, how many it was. Really nice place. If you don't mind the rain, it rains a lot. It seems like I was only there for a couple weeks. I felt like it rained the whole time I was there, but I love the rain, so I didn't mind. Yeah, mostly in May. Well, and up in the Northeast, you get them, but it depending on what part of the Northeast of the state, you might not ever really see one that actually comes close to your house. They don't really Tornadoes don't really like wooded areas. You went to school. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. It was pretty. I guess I mean, I didn't wasn't there long enough to deal with any of the people or actually experience the what it's like to live in a place. It's like Vegas. Everybody thinks that Vegas is like, oh, it'd be glamorous to live in Vegas. And I lived in Vegas for a while. It is not glamorous when you live there. It's kind of messed up because like I don't know. A lot of people in Vegas, they just have this kind of way they do things that's very transactional. Like people are your friends because of a transactional need. A lot of times, it's weird. Yeah, it's easy to like a place because from pictures you've seen or whatever. But living there is a whole different deal. Can be really nice and really pretty place too, and some places of it are just awful. Joplin's one of the worst tornadoes. Los Angeles. Yeah, Joplin. Again, it's one of those weird. Like when they come through that area, they're big. They happen rarely, but when they do, they really will pop off. It is. It's like every 10, 20 years or so, you'll get one up there that's crazy. But when it comes, it's usually significant, and it seems like it's usually at night too. Comes in the evening, which those are the worst. That's the scariest. Just trimming off plastic here, trying to even it out. So we're probably going to get in with a file here in a second. I'm going to make sure we got as much of the major material out as possible to make our lives easier. Yeah, it's crazy. It was like this after the Spanish flu too. That's why we ended up with World War II. Massive pandemics have this way of kind of just completely wrecking the entire world. And the people who bear the brunt of it are the ones that are on the bottom and in the middle. It's never the people at the top, even though they act like everything's awful for them. you. No, you. Where'd it go? Well, I didn't go in my toe. That's good. Right about dusk. Yeah, it's crazy. How was Alien Romulus? I haven't seen it yet. I'm a huge Alien fan. I've liked them all. Even though some people probably didn't like all of them, but yeah, I even liked Alien. The last one. What was that? The Resurrection. I like Prometheus. I liked them all. It's fantastic. There's even a scene with a giant alien vagina. Well, there you go. That's going to be very strange. We'll have to definitely have to see that. I'll probably wait for it to come out on video. I don't get out to the movies very often. The last movie I saw in theaters was the second part of Dune, and the last movie I saw before that was the first part of Dune. Dune got me out of the theaters. Before that, it was The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbits, because those are my favorite as a kid. Because I have the same birthday as Bilbo and Frodo Baggins, which is coming up this weekend, I think. Okay. All right. Still got that. We still got that. Here's a little trick we're gonna pull. Just to smooth out any work we may have done. Take a little glue and run it through the places where we did that work. Yeah, we're getting ready to watch that one. My kids love the Godzilla stuff. So we're watching. I just rarely get out for movies. It's so expensive to go to a movie. And with 4 kids, man, going to see because I think one of them is old enough to go watch it in a theater. So I got to be careful about. It has to be a date. One of our date nights, and my wife and I we enjoy other kinds of dates. We're going to the opera next weekend. We're gonna go see Lizzie Borden. Should be entertaining. Oh yeah, that's right. It fell and almost went on my foot. Okay, so now we got to take this little skull, and we're gonna try and come here. Try and cut the back of it off. It's gonna be way easier said than done. Come here, little boy. There you go. And hold it still long enough to get a line started. Almost feels like it would be easier to file this off. We're getting there. We're getting there. Gotcha. Gotcha. Bam. All right, now you just gotta smooth it out. Flatten it down enough to fit exactly. Smooth out our work. Do a little dry fit, and we'll see where we're at. This guy's so small, maybe easier just to rub him on the stick. Oh yeah, that's gonna look great. Take a little bit more off. For Godzilla, it was. You watch? Yeah, you totally should watch the new Godzilla movies. They're great. I was actually impressed with them. Saw every episode except for episode 4 on opening night. Oh wow. Yeah, I thought they. I've liked a few Star Wars movies in my day. I even kind of liked Ray and that stuff. I thought it was all right. I felt like it wasn't. I don't know. I've gotten to the point where I feel like Star Wars isn't like marketed to me anymore because it's being marketed for kids, you know. And in the old days, it had gotten a little bit kid marketed, you know, when you got into Return of the Jedi and stuff. But they've definitely like gone full tilt on the kids. Oh, it's all right. They've just kind of messed around with it a little bit. It's okay. Oh yeah, this is gonna look great. All right. I definitely am. Everybody has, you know, is definitely entitled to opinions on them. I thought Acolyte was freaking awful, but other than that, it could have been worse. I really think it's unfortunate that Rosie O'Dar, Rosanna O'Dari, oh God, I can't even say her name. Dawkins. Anyway, the girl who's playing Ahsoka. I wish she would get a little bit better with her swordplay. Because she just looks so stiff. But you know that's like it's like a small complaint. How about that? Maybe it should be a little further in. I kind of like it sitting up off there like that. It's kind of fun. It sits way up off of it though. All right, that's cool. Okay, one more. Yeah, she's just stiff. She's stiff in her movements. I know a little bit about sword fighting and stuff like that. I took a little bit of that sort of, and I did when I was in drama. I did fight choreography and things like that. But I just when you see a good fight scene, you can see the fluidity of the movement. Like you look at I don't know, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Well, I don't need excellent swordplay. I don't need that. It doesn't need to be like perfect, but like go watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. They've got a sword fight between two chicks in that thing, and it's badass. Like they kill it. They absolutely murder it. Michelle Yeoh is one of the best with a little Chinese saber you can ask for. She's phenomenal. Um, and you can train up, or you can change some of your camera shots in a way that you can help her look better. But the way they did the camera shots, they didn't help Rosario much at all. And in the end, she looks stiffer than she has to. Is my point. Like, I think she makes a great. She plays the character very well, and I like her performance. I wish that the direction of the people who are doing the choreography and then the editing, mostly in the editing section, because you could edit that to look better, to where the fight looked better. Just with changing maybe some angles here and stuff there, you can do that. Agreed. But you can go back. There are other girls who have done well in fight scenes. We can go through and look at, oh man, even in the 90s you had some white girls that were good at some martial arts and stuff like that. And again, like I said, you could easily change some edits to make it look better. You see that in some of these Marvel movies. Now I don't want a bunch of crazy CGI or something like that to change it up. But like if you edit the film in a way and you set the angles in a way, it's possible to make those fight scenes look better for her, so that she looks less stiff. Because you see her when she fights Hayden Christensen, it looks like Hayden Christensen is slowing down for her, and you don't want it to look like that. You want it to look more fluid, and you could do that in a way. Oh yeah, the duel on Mustafar is fantastic, man. Duel of Fates is good too. But even like when you go back to Vader versus old Obi-Wan in the original Star Wars, okay, the movement was stiff. You had an old man and a giant guy who could barely see in a huge costume, so the movements were stiff, but they set it up in a way that the drama and that the editing and the way they shot it set up this idea that this fight was epic, if that makes sense. Because I mean, Alec Guinness at the time was old, and didn't even know what the hell was going on, really, because he didn't really understand much about sci-fi in general and what George Lucas was going to do. You go and look back at all the interviews, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, this is fun, but I don't particularly get it, and it's okay. I'm just gonna play my character." But you look at that fight, and it is that way. They're stiff and they don't move as well as a modern fight scene, but it still creates drama. Or you go back to like the Dune, the fight scene at the end of Dune. They're it's pretty visceral and they move pretty good, but it's not really that. It's not a super flashy fight or anything like that. The reason that fight works so well on film is that like you're looking at reaction shots, people reacting to what's happening, really intensify that fight. Yeah, if you've watched a lot of the old samurai films, it makes a whole lot more sense. That's a very good point. But for the basic audience, they don't understand that part. It just looks stiff. But again, they do. In that film, George Lucas was using some of the stuff Kurosawa was doing in films like Yojimbo and Sanjuro and Seven Samurai and Ran and stuff like that. Because George Lucas is a huge fan of Kurosawa. But like I said, you could make that in a way. You could set it up in a way where Rosario looked better. I feel like they could have done better for her. Now this guy's got a stud in it, which is great. So we're gonna actually use that stud here. Oh, it's already in. Look at me. Let me get a bit though. Those of you who are following along at home, I definitely highly recommend you get yourself a little hand drills. These things are awesome. You can buy a pack of them. Pin vices is what they're called when you buy them. Oop, get in there. I still need to replace that 30 second. But This one should do perfectly for what we're trying to do. Yeah, a lot. If more people should actually watch Kurosawa if you're not familiar with his work, because he is awesome. Most of your fight sequences you see today start off somewhere in Kurosawa for films, anyway. Yeah, it was. Oh my gosh. No, I actually, when you go back and you watch Hayden's performance, it's not bad. There's a few things that, unfortunately, that like he caught flack for. That again wasn't his fault. The some of the writing was just not. It just wasn't great, and he was doing his best with the lines, and some of that just gets to me. Unfortunately, some of that gets just a little bit unbelievable. In that it's like this senator from Naboo wants to hook up with this child she knew from a slave planet a while back and seen each other in forever. Like, yeah, that's supposed to work like that. It just seems off. Here we go. That's that that comment, Francois, is pretty good. That's some loaded words, man. I love it. Yeah. I felt like they could have done some. They could have just made some stuff better. There's some things they could have done better, and especially because like then you could have made the girl boss look more powerful. You know what I mean? If that's what your real intent was, if that's what your real intention was to make the girl boss look powerful, then you should have done her proper with some good editing and some good shots. You know, you just could have done it. Could have been done better. But again, you know, you're asking a lot we're asking a lot out of Star Wars. It's owned by the mouse now. That's why I've always been more of a Dune. After I found Dune in high school, I became a massive Dune fan. Man, it does feel that way, but things change, people leave. Eventually, her time will come, and then the nightmare will be over. And then we can go on to picking on Hasbro like we should be, because Hasbro's been doing us dirty. For those of y'all who are D&D players, Hasbro has been doing us way dirty. All right, so question is here: do we want to make a raised version of those wings? And maybe we put a skull up here. $3.5 or nothing. I love it. I don't know, man. I remember having to fucking calculate THACO. Right. Well, okay. So that's a good point, though, McBeardsly. Like, it's not organic. Ripley worked because Ripley was organic. She was kind of the leader by proxy. She wasn't even the commander of the ship in the beginning. It worked because the story put her there in a slow, methodical way, and it showed her go through the terror and then also find her character found that strength over the course of the movies. That's why Ripley works. Ripley is a great girl boss, an absolute badass. Everybody likes Ripley, and it's oh yeah, you never played 3. 3 was cool, man. 3.5, there was a lot of neat stuff in 3. Somewhere around here, I think I have my AD&D handbook, and I think I still have my 3rd ed spell stuff for wizards. Yeah, no, it wasn't bad. I mean, third 3.5 was fun. And 5's not bad. It's all right. It's easy for my kids to play, which was fun. I think we're switching over to Pathfinder, though. I think we're going to go to Pathfinder. That's also why I go. Right. Yeah. They gave Luke that arc. They even gave Han Solo that arc. They gave Princess Leia that arc. You know, Chewbacca didn't need an arc because he's a background character. But like those main characters got an arc where they changed who they were over a period of time, and that's one of the things that make it. They didn't give Rey much of an arc. You know, she went from being a scavenger on a planet to being some sort of badass in the matter of hours. Where Luke didn't really become super successful till almost the end of the movie. Most of the time he wandered around lost. Like, what's this? What's that? Oh my gosh, what do we have? Wow. Which is great, but oh yeah, that's looking slick. That's gonna look great. Anywho, you gotta, I don't know. There's a limit to how there's a way you do it. All right. Now I looked on some old ass cannons for an old Rhino I have, and that's got to get drilled out. These barrels got to get drilled out. So we're gonna do that. I should have pulled out this bit while I was there. Gonna be the right size, maybe a little smaller. Start out smaller. If we have to, we'll come back with the bigger one. Yeah, there's just like I said, there's a way you do it, and it does seem like they just don't want to do it. They just don't want to do the work to make these characters awesome. Because you could make it like, you know, if you want to take a real life girl boss, Boudica, out of Europe. She was a badass. She got people rallied up and stuff like that. Was she the most epic fighter? No, she didn't have to be. She was a great speaker. That's what made her great. And I think sometimes we miss that people get so caught up in trying to make everything exactly the same for everybody that they miss the uniqueness of small things in people. And that happens a lot. People do that all the time. Dang it, I just had that. I don't know what to do with it. Too busy running my mouth. We're over time again. So I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna pull this one out. We're gonna drill these barrels, and then we're ready to start looking at some other stuff. That's not too inaccurate. All right. Makes me glad I cleared out all the mold lines early here. At least we don't have to do all that work. I did all that when they pulled off the sprues. Those push fits weren't bad about hiding those mold lines too. I'll say that. The push fits have gotten better over the years. They're not. Everything in the Leviathan box was all push. And some of it I glued together because the push fits just didn't hold right. But that notwithstanding, the push fits have gotten better. Yeah, probably needed that bigger grip bit size. I'm just gonna throw it on the ground. Yeah, you get on a TV show you get those seasons to go through a character like that, which makes things a little bit different. I'm thinking about running a D&D game again soon. I have a family game that we play here at my house, my kids and stuff. I'm thinking about taking some stuff down to the hobby store and starting to play a game down here. Oof, trying to break shit. We get too far. Make sure that's going to be the right size. Oh yeah, that's money. There we go. One drilled barrel. We're going to start off with that pilot hole first. Just a little tiny. Right, adults. Yeah, it's hard to get adult games going. I will. I don't know. I'll think about it. I might run. One just for funsies. If we get enough people that are from the channel that want to play. My hands are getting shaky. It's definitely been past an hour. I haven't stretched my hands. On target. On target. Here you go. Realistic fantasy, real and malicious evil. Oof. Sounds brutal. I think there's a pretty good community up there. And I think Tulsa at least has a good group of gamers. You might be able to find somebody doing a game up there for sure. A little bit too far on the one side. Clean it up with a little metal knife work. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. That's, I like it. I like the skull. It looks great. All right. Just gotta decide on that. We'll save that for tomorrow. We're at an hour and 22 minutes. We usually do about an hour. For you, Francois, who is just now joining the channel. So usually about after an hour, I'll cut it off because I got to take a break. I got a bunch of stuff I got to do. I got kids and chores and work. And I got to do stuff that's off-channel projects that help the studio make money. And that sort of stuff. But anyway, it's great chatting with you. And always great to have the wonderful Sir McBeardsly Esq. And then we had, who else we had? It was Jedi Nut. That guy was hilarious. So yeah, awesome. I'm so glad to have some new friends coming to chat. It makes things so much smoother and so much more entertaining when we got folks that are willing to chat and provide some background for what we're doing. That help. It does help. It makes me laugh. So anyway, you guys have a great night. We're gonna talk to you guys tomorrow. We're gonna get back to it looks like prepping up these models because we still got a lot of prep work to do. And yeah, we'll talk to you tomorrow.